Hello and welcome to Football Cruise on Naija Footballers TV. My name is Emmanuel Sebastian. It is another beautiful time on the show. I've never been this excited coming into the show. It was another fantastic weekend for Nigerian footballers. As usual, I'm not alone in the studio. I will start with the guy on my direct left. His name is David, but we call him Super MD. He's making his debut on the show today. Yeah. David, how are you doing?
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here. I'm excited. Nigerian footballers got me really smiling this weekend, especially Osimhen.
Yeah.
And I'm just happy to be on the show.
All right, before I go into the Bolu, how come about the name Super MD? I mean, you do a lot with Nigerian football, and just tell us what come about the name Super MD.
Super MD is a name that metamorphosed from a name I'm known by on Ireland, the Super Ned. I got it when I was in medical school. You know, when you jack a lot, they call you certain names. So, being a nerd and everything, but the name Super is because I'm not just the typical nerd you come across who just loves books super and everything. So the super is that extra quality that you see in someone who doesn't make him ordinary. It makes him more. So I was given that name by certain ladies and guys in other medical department, and then it has stuck. So.
All right. I mean, you're doing a good job with your coverage of Nigerian footballers. It's good to have you on the show, and of course, Bolu as well, my regular strike partner with me on the show. Bolu, how was the weekend? I mean,
it was fantastic. It felt very good to see so many Nigerians. Even the defenders were scoring. we're just among the goals, man. They're not gonna give us one slot for World Cup.
I mean, they should just replay that Ghana game.
Let's just go to the World Cup. Our boys are on fire.
We can borrow a time machine.
I mean, talking about our guys on fire. I mean, the defenders are scoring goals, the strikers are scoring. So, just after this quick break, we'll be getting into the show proper. So don't go anywhere. It is still Football Cruise on Naija Footballers TV. Welcome back, guys. It is still Football Cruise on Naija Footballers TV. I still have my guys with me in the studio. Super MD, let me start with you. I mean, our strikers were on fire this past weekend. Osimhen, Onachu, Awoni. Let's just do a quick rundown. Let's start with Onachu now. I mean, for a guy who started the season, on a poor note, I mean, he got injured here and there. Yeah, didn't score in some couple of games, and I mean, back-to-back braces. Yeah, he scored 2 goals in the last 2 games for Genk, and he's been on fire. I mean, what's been your take on Paul Onachu so far this season?
Paul Eberechi Onachu is the goal lord of Belgium. Like in the past 5 games, he scored 7 goals. Like at us 5 match days ago, this guy was not even in the top 10 of the goal scorer chart. But if you check that goal scorer chart right now, he's sitting right there at the top. Yeah. He has come out from nowhere to remind everyone in Belgium that, hey, I'm the guy here. I own this league. Injuries slowed him down at the beginning. Yeah. He was being benched by Andret Nemeth. But with time, he started getting it from, and then the coach said, okay, guy, time to show you into the deep end again. And he's been delivering. This guy he has been good. Yesterday, I saw his 2 goals. My God, they were awesome headers. This guy, oh my God, the way he shook out this Royal Antwerp team. Royal Antwerp were leaders.
Form team of the season.
They were leading for like a couple of matches now until the last 2 matches where they slipped. And, Hassan Yusuf was on display yesterday. He had a good game, but Onachu had a commanding game yesterday. He was simply on fire, and he has been on fire. And I think the return to Super Eagles should not be far from it, For me, the return to Super Eagles should not be far from me.
Yeah, talking about Onachu, he's been kind of a forgotten man when it comes to the Super Eagles. Haven't been, getting called up to the national team recently. But, I mean, his season is back to life in Belgium, scoring goals upon goals and stuff like that. Boli, what do you make of Paul Onachu so far this season?
He's been fantastic, and Super MD has summed him up by saying, he started the season very slowly. During preseason, was injured most of the time. He also had his wedding over the break and all that. So it was a slow start to the season for him. But he's bang in form. And I was saying off camera a few minutes ago that he has hacked that league. He has hacked the Belgian league.
He could do nothing else. Yeah.
The league is his. And whenever he's ready, he just keeps banging the goals. And well, the goals are back here again. It's up to whichever team is ready to take him up and buy him, because he's overdue a transfer out of the Belgian league.
All right, let's move away from Onachu now. This one is kind of personal to me. Taiwo Awoni. I mean, Taiwo Awoniyi.
Condolences.
You had to say that. I mean, you've been a torment ever since you scored that goal to me. But I mean, what a way to score against your former team, a team that brought you to England. I mean, we all know why he didn't play for Liverpool due to work permit issues and stuff like that. You know, so many fans are indifferent when it comes to Taiwo Awoniyi, Super Ned. I don't know what you think, but I mean, what an occasion to score against your former team in such a huge game for Nottingham Forest. How would you describe Taiwo Awoniyi, and how would you describe the atmosphere of him scoring that goal?
Stratospheric, because what better time to re-announce yourself in English football? Like, he had scored 2 goals already in that league,
and he's been in and out of the team.
Yes,
as well.
He had been in and out of the team. He had not been, consistent in the first 11. Steve Cooper keeps switching things up. That man hasn't decided what his first 11 is going to be. But scoring over the weekend against Liverpool, driving that dagger into Liverpoolian heart, a week after they had conquered Man City. No, this was huge for Awoniyi. And this was a club that brought him to England, like you said. 5 years of no work permit. Finally got the work permit last season. Got it moved to the EPL, fulfilled the dream, but not in Liverpool colours. Yeah. Now he scored a goal against them. I mean, this guy has now scored more than he had made appearances for Liverpool. It's that funny. So, but Awoniyi, despite his goal, does that make him all of a sudden, the guy that the Super Eagles fans want to see leading their lines? We saw him at the AFCON.
So where's your stance on Awoniyi?
I think Awoniyi is an okay striker. But for me personally, he's not in my top 3.
I agree on Taiwo being a natural goal scorer. I'm someone who has always taken a keen interest in his game, because he has that smell for goal that you can never teach strikers. He's just always between the width of the goal, and somehow his goals always just come from just being there most of the time, and he just scores naturally. It's just, in fact, the interesting thing is that his 3 Premier League goals so far this season have been goals he didn't even know nothing about. The first one was a reaction. The second was a header that bounced off him. This one too was someone who took a shot, and there was a rebound. I fell for Taiwo and he scored. So it looks like luck, but it's not luck. It's an unteachable quality of always just being where the
right place at the right time.
Place at the right time. And it's a wonderful story for him. Being all those years in Liverpool, not getting a work permit, not getting an international cap and all that, and he finally worked his way up the ranks. He's now a Premier League player. He came in as Nottingham Forest record goal scorer, and he's banging the goals for them. He has secured their 2 wins this season at home. There are only 2 wins in the season so far, and they were brought about by goals from him. And I'm just very happy for him. And when he signed for Nottingham Forest, then he said that the game he was most looking forward to was the game against Liverpool.
Yeah,
and it happened.
I remember that.
He scored the only goal of the game, got a clean sheet for them, took them off the foot of the table temporarily. So it was a very fantastic moment for Taiwo Awoniyi, and he's going to remember this moment for a very, very long time.
And I mean, he has a knack of scoring winners for Nottingham Forest whenever they're playing at the City Ground. I mean, it's a record. His goals, most of his goals have come at the City Ground. Whenever Nottingham Forest are playing at home. So brilliant one from Taiwo Awoniyi, and it's been brilliant for our strikers. And the final one I want to talk about before we move on to the next phase of the show, Victor Osimhen. I mean, what a strike! What a goal! I mean, this is a man. But let me start with you. This is a guy. A lot of us. Maybe a lot of Nigerian fans thought he's going to lose his starting bet for Napoli due to the form of other strikers, Raspadori, Simeone. And, I mean, that goal yesterday, how would you describe that goal? I mean, the way it sounded when he hit the net, it was something striking, the power, describe that goal in your own words.
No matter how many goals Raspadori scores or whoever else in a Napoli team, no one can ever be like Osimhen. There's something that he has a trait that not many strikers currently have. There are just a handful of them that actually have that quality of making goals out of nothing. It was basically a half chance, a pass that was just towards that area, and Osimhen made something out of it and scored from a very difficult angle. And earlier in that game, he had missed an even better chance from a broader angle that he could have scored, and he scuffed his shots. But this one, he had to really swerve. It was a fantastic goal. The way his hip moved, his body movement, he had to twist himself to get the power. It was a fantastic strike, and everyone who has seen that goal the reactions have just been crazy, because those things are not things you see on a regular day. That was a chance out of nothing, beating one of the best defenders in Serie A, Chris Smalling, and just scoring that kind of goal in a very important game like that. 10 minutes to go to the end of the game, extending Napoli's winning run,
Winning
actually,
run, yeah.
11 game streak. And it's just fantastic for him. It's good to see him in banging form now, 3 goals in 3 games. And wow, it's just frightening to think what Napoli can actually do with Osimhen in front of them this season.
Super had 3 games, like Bolu said, 3 games, 3 goals since his return from injury. I mean, what a statement from Victor Osimhen. He's back and better, yeah? He comes to take what belongs to him and stuff like that.
He is the Lion King of Naples. Okay? He is the Lion King of Naples. Like he said, no matter how many goals that Podori scores, there is just something about that guy called Victor. The quality he brings, the present, that animalistic presence he brings to that striking position. I mean, check out it go yesterday. Like I said, a half chance, a hopeful ball from Politano. Smalling was in his way. Osimhen, what he had to do first was attack Smalling's blind side. Came from his blind side, came in front of him.
I think he didn't see him coming.
Him. You know what it means to outmuzzle a 1.92 mass called Smalling, a guy who has done it in the PL and has been one of Syria's best defenders this season. Osimhen, it was nothing for him. He just outmuzzled the guy. Didn't foul him, just pushed him away. And while he was doing that, he simultaneously set himself up for that Van Basten-like strike. It was reminiscent of Van Basten. That some people said it was Van Basten-like, some people said Drogba-like. That strike alone, many commentaries, world-class, fantastic, stratospheric, the precision, the power, the timing, everything was just right in that strike. And I think that goal also buries the talk of Osimhen doesn't score in big games, he doesn't show up in the big games.
He needs to.
He buried it for good. Like, it's not if he hadn't scored in big game before. At Lille, he scored against Chelsea in the Champions League. His first Champions League was against a big club like Chelsea. You know,
when he was at Lille, yeah?
Yeah, when he was at Lille. He has also scored against Lazio. I mean, he scored Lazio, I think that was his second season at Napoli. He scored against Lazio. He has performed as much as he can in the big game. But yesterday, it was a statement. It was a statement against the Mourinho team trying to stop their unbeaten run. And also, before that game, there was a record that was on show. Napoli had gone 11 straight matches unbeaten, winning streak, back in Maradona's time, 1986 or so. So Osimhen scoring that goal ensured they equaled that record. It was just fantastic. You know, there are so many things I can say about the moment Osimhen experienced yesterday, but what I can just say is that he needed that moment, and it just had to be him. And I think it cements the fact that he is Napoli's #1 striker. No matter what the likes of Simeone or Podori does, they will always be good backup. They need good backup for a team that is challenging for titles. You need to have quality backup, but your #1 will always be your #1. There is something he has, and Osimhen has it. That X factor, that present, it's something you don't buy in the market. Not every striker has that desire, combined with passion, with speed and power. Osimhen has it all, and kudos to him.
All right, like you said, he's the lion heart of Naples. I like that description. I mean, our strikers are firing, and it's just sad that we have no World Cup to show for later on this year. But brilliant one from our strikers. We'll be going on a quick break now. When we return from this break, there's one man in England who his name keeps being in our lips, and the listeners out there, I'm beginning to think they are guessing who that man is. But after this break, we're going into that proper. Don't you go anywhere. It's still Football Cruise on Nigeria Footballers TV. Welcome back, guys. It's still Football Cruise on Naija Footballers TV. Guys, let's wrap up on the show now. Everton against Crystal Palace this past weekend. For me, it was practically Alex Iwobi up against Eberechi Eze. I mean, why I said Eze, because he's one player fans have been clamoring for for the NFF to poach from the clutches of England to come play for the national team. I think Iwobi carried the day at the end of the day. I mean, Iwobi has been massive this season, and let me put you guys on the spot now with Iwobi's form. Do we still need Eze? Bolu, let me start with you.
I mean, I want them all.
We want the best. We want the best.
I always want the best. But it's an interesting position to be in, and it almost feels too good to be true. Like, wow, this is two quality players we could actually be having it that are eligible to play for the Super Eagles. And I think if we have the chance, we should be going for it. If Eze is willing to play for Nigeria, if he feels Nigerian enough to want to play for us, of course we should go for him. He's a quality player. We've seen what he can do, and despite his injury last year, he has come back and is showing good form again. So of course, Eze is someone who is a bit different from Iwobi, but he can definitely.
Do you think it's different? What's
it's
different?
Slightly different in the sense that Iwobi is probably more of a passer, creative guy, and Eze is more. Eze's creativity is more with the ball at his feet, like he's dribbling with the ball, he's trying to create space with the ball at his feet, not just trying to actually pass. He can also pass, but then.
But we've seen that from Iwobi this season. We've seen glimpses of that from Iwobi this season.
It's just a bit more different. There's a certain aura when he's on the ball. You know, the game seems to just slow down when he's on the ball. The way he just glides on the pitch, there's something very special about him in the midfield, and I want that quality as well. If he can always have those two options, or even both of them together in a midfield combination somehow, of course, I want that. It will be a very, very interesting combination to have, especially with strikers like Osimhen in front, strikers like Awuni, all the strikers that we have in very good form. So, of course, the more quality, the better.
Super Ned, have you been one of those Nigerian fans clamoring for Eberechi Eze to come play for the Super Eagles? And, how do you put Eze and Iwobi so far this season? And do you still want us to go for him?
I've been one of those fans. I used to be. I'm a big Eze fan, actually. But, in the light of all that happened with the Super Eagles inviting and all the drama around, Eze, are you coming to us? The fact that he was actually supposed to make the England squad for the Euros. In fact, I understand that Gareth Southgate had him on that list, but injury came in made him, made them take his name out.
The same day was invited.
So it was unfortunate for him then. But that shows that this guy's mind is still with England. I remember the time he was supposed to be given an invite on that Raw, but he chose an England under 21 invite. But that doesn't take anything away from him. He had been good this season on his own. He has had a personal fine start this season. But in the light of what he will be doing, my brother, no.
So she does forget about Eze.
Iwobi has all it takes to play in the position we are calling Eze to come play in. CM. Eze has played mostly at the left-sided CM for Crystal Palace this season. Iwobi has excelled there too. Iwobi has played 6, 8, 10 this season under Lampard and excelled in all games. It's just hard to just I don't think I've seen a bad game from Iwobi this season. I don't think so. He had practically won man of the match every single game. Everton fans are fed up. They're like, it's almost like every time our game ends, this guy is man of the match.
Man of the match, yeah.
Material. We don't get it. Iwobi. Now, he said something. He said Eze is slightly different from Iwobi. Yeah, in the dribbling. Eze is more of a dribbler than a passer. But there's something I have to say about that. What would you rather have in your team against quality side? Would you want a dribbler who is likely to lose the ball, surrounded by 2 or 3 players? Or do you want to have a passer whose one pass can break 3 lines of defenses?
I think it depends.
Trust me, I think it depends.
I'd
rather have both, honestly.
Listen, talking about dribbling, I believe we have a dribbler in our team. Ejuke. Okay? Not like Ejuke and Eze, they're the same. They're not the same, okay? Ejuke is more of a winger. Eze is more of an AM who can also, play on the side of midfield.
Yeah.
But Ejuke is a better dribbler than Eze. So if you're looking for a dribbler, we have Ejuke. Let's focus on him and refine him. In Iwobi, we have a midfield general. We have a midfield orchestrator. Someone who can dictate the plays of our midfield. What would you be looking for? It's someone who can partner him. Not someone to deputize. Someone who can partner him and make our midfield play smoother in the Super Eagles. Because if you watch our Super Eagles in recent times, even against Algeria, our midfield plays. It's only Iwobi. When the ball is at Iwobi's feet, that's when you see the smoothness of our play. But there's only so much he can do. He's one player. He needs partners, people who are in sync with him in the ball playing aspect. You don't need to work with merchant and run around warriors. You need people who can pass the ball, who have that speed of thought, similar to Iwobi. Look at Barca. Barca used to have a Xavi and Iniesta. They had 1-6, Busquets. All of them could play the ball. I believe in the Super Eagles, we should be thinking of a point where we should come to that point where we should, bring in players, personnel that will complement what Iwobi is showing right now. He's in the form of his life. 5 assists in the league. Only De Bruyne ahead of him.
Yeah.
Only De Bruyne ahead of him. In I think in Everton's last 10 goals, he has contributed 7 of those goals. 1 goal, 6 assists. Iwobi is madly. Did you see his last assist yesterday?
Yeah, I see that it breeds a guy who's confident.
The way he ran into the box. Look at his speed, the timing of his run.
Yeah.
The awareness of the offside trap. He just ran in and just immediately he's got the ball. He knew what he was going to do with the ball. He just knew that McNeil was going to attack the space that it will be vacated. That ball intelligent. We need someone that can complement that in the midfield for Iwobi. So Eze will be a good addition. The more the merrier. I get it point. But for me, I think I'll be more focused on working with Iwobi at the man then finding personnel to complement what he brings to the Super Eagles. Right
I mean, you were talking about the assists yesterday. Breeds a man who is confident in his abilities at the moment. Iwobi has been bullish, even at pressers. He's been at the front page of all Everton's media publications. They just want to put out content around Iwobi, and it's just brilliant to see Nigerians at the being the talking point of their respective club sides. But so talking about Eze, I mean, our next competitive game is going to be next year, if I'm not mistaken, for the Super Eagles. So I think we should, if we can get him, if he doesn't make the England squad. I'm not saying we should keep on chasing these players, but I mean, this is the best time for us to get him, bring him on with the team, playing for Nigeria up until next year. So we don't have a competitive game coming up at the moment. So if we can that's my take on it. So if we can get him now and gradually just integrate him in the Nigerian setup, the Nigerian national team, I think it would be the best time for us to get Eze and stuff like that. That's the angle I'm looking at it from. So I don't know if
if he's still willing to play for us.
Yeah, that's another angle as well.
You can't force a girl to be with you if she doesn't want to be with you. I'm just saying. So Eze, if we get him, fine. The more the merrier. I'm in support of the more the merrier, but in the likes of, if we really need him, I would say, come on, we have someone who is doing it and even doing it better in the positions we need him for. Iwobi is just the answer right now.
And finally on Iwobi, I mean, what has changed? I mean, last season, this started at the tail end of last season where Everton were fighting for their survival status in the Premier League. And, Iwobi, no doubt, one of the most criticized Nigerian players. And I don't know what your take is.
I have criticized him myself.
Because I was about to go there. I mean, is it just because the way you spoke about him, is it just season that he's convinced you? I mean, what changed for you?
No,
for Alex
I've always rated Iwobi. But the one thing
so where is the critics coming from? Where were you criticizing from his game previously?
At the AFCON. That was where I think my criticism for Iwobi went up. Because at the AFCON, I understand he was played out of position by Eguavon. Playing him on the wing, that limited him. But the truth is, when you were at Arsenal and your first few seasons at Everton, you also played on the wing and you were still doing okay. So why would that be the excuse for your stinkers at the AFCON? We needed you. We needed your A game. But you went to the AFCON and the Super Eagles, you just switched off. You were not involved. Even his worst involvement game was against Guinea-Bissau, the least involved player for Nigeria that day. It was terrible. Okay, he crowned it with a red card. So that was, for me, Iwobi's nadir point in the national team. I've never seen Iwobi that bad in Nigeria. So my criticism was coming from a place of me knowing what he's capable of, how good he had been. I mean, this guy was the guy that was one of Raw's most informed players. Like, every time he played on that Raw, he excelled. He was one of the go-to players, the first named on the list. So what he did at the AFCON was terrible, and I had to criticize him for it. And believe me, I would do the same for any Nigerian player who dropped thinkers. I'm not someone that will try to sugarcoat your mistakes, sugarcoat your low times. I would like Nigerian players to realize, okay, I'm messing up. I need to step up. This was criticism for good criticism. And look at him, he's doing well. I'm the first person that will also sing his praises. I literally comment about him every time on my Twitter or Nigerian. I will always be the first to praise a Nigerian player that look at themselves and say, okay, I need to step up here. I think, but credit must also go to Lampard. Lampard is one of those guys that I think listened to some of the things I used to say earlier about Iwobi. I was always of the opinion that Iwobi should be played centrally. Every time I saw Iwobi on the wing by any Nigerian coach, I was mad. I was like, why are you doing this? Now, I remember I told you that was not an excuse. But then I was also crazy about the fact that why are you using Iwobi in a position where he's limited? We need him in the center. Lampard used Iwobi across different positions last season. Right back, CM, AM, LM, RM. He has held in all.
Everywhere.
But this season, Lampard have said, okay, let me play him in the middle, just in the middle. He played him in a two-man midfield. He was the sixth sometimes he was the eighth. He excelled. But right now, he's playing a three-man midfield. And it's more like the more advanced of those three midfielders. Ghana, Gueye, Onana. He's the more advanced of those midfielders. And he had been put on. Lampard tells himself, anywhere I play this guy, 6, 8, 10, he has excelled. He's my man of the season. So Iwobi right now, he deserves all the credit he's getting from me and from any Nigerian. Constructive criticism is welcome. But people to also be open to the fact, to own up to the fact that when a Nigerian player is doing well, the person you criticize, the person you've been against, open your mouth and say, okay, he's doing well, he deserves the praises. And that's exactly what I'm doing right now. So, yeah, he deserves all the praises. And he is just the guy to just look at the moment. I think for me, he's a guy worthy of the Man City midfield even. Take it from me, yeah, that's another unpopular opinion.
All right, Bolu, final words on Iwobi. I mean, what changed for you, and where does he go from here?
Well, for Iwobi, football is. I always like to remind myself that football is it seems quite a complex game sometimes, but it's really a simplified game. It's always been the same, you know, play, pass, run, shoot, score. You know, it's always basically the basics of football never change really. And what has changed in Iwobi's game is just simplifying the roles. His best qualities. What are his best qualities? I think that's what Lampard did. What are his best qualities? He's very good at running off the ball. He's a very creative player on the ball. He's very good at passing, and he likes to, you know, maraud around the midfield. So what do you do? Put him central. You know, simplify his instructions for him. When we're off the ball, try to press in these certain areas. When we're on the ball, try to combine in these certain areas to create so for these certain players. You know, it's just, you know, he has just simplified his game to his best qualities, and Everton are reaping the rewards for it. And you know, the Premier League is beginning to notice what a quality player that he is. And Iwobi is 26 years old and he's beginning to enter that point where you're saying, okay, he's probably beginning to enter the prime of his career as a footballer. Yeah. So I think it's just perfect for him right now. He's at a very good environment. The pressure is not so high or so little either. So he can really develop himself as a player.
All right, talking about Iwobi, I mean, another man of the match performance for that man against Crystal Palace this past weekend. Remember, he's got his first goal of the season against Manchester United. And, I mean, only Kevin De Bruyne, like Super Ned likely said, has more assists in the Premier League this season. So, brilliant one from Alex Iwobi, and we hope this continues moving forward in the season. Guys, it's been fantastic with you on the show. Super Ned, pleasure to have you on the show, and hopefully we get to see you more frequently on the show as it goes on.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure being here. Nice meeting Bolu here, and nice talking football with you guys.
All right, fantastic analysis from you. And of course, Bolu, I mean, we're always here together. And, you know, it's good to have you on the show as well.
Yeah, brilliant to be here again to talk about so many people, so many Nigerian players have done well, and be here with someone who is so passionate about Nigerian football as well.
All right, guys, it's been brilliant time on Football Cruise today on the show with David on the show, Super Ned, and of course, Bolu on the show. Don't forget, if you're watching this, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications for premium Nigerian football content. My name is Imano Sabasin. It's been Football Cruise. Till we come away again next time. Bye-bye.